John Barry here on the Rich Eisen Show. A couple more minutes left with him. So obviously the NBA is not as much of a knee-jerk league as the NFL because they don't play one game a week. That said, there's always something that does happen, like that game that you said you were at in Oakland between the Celtics and the Warriors, where narratives can form, and I'm wondering if it's real or not. And that is coming out of that game that Boogie Cousins is a potential defensive liability, that they still haven't figured it out yet how to work him in, and that he's another guy along with Draymond that can be easily triggered during the playoffs at an inopportune time. Is that a viable narrative to come out of that game that night, John?
Well, yeah, I mean, he's been getting attacked, Cousins, defensively, no doubt about it. In any real close game, he's been on the bench in the last 3, 4, 5 minutes because of that. And Steve Kerr knows that he's going to go to his best defensive unit. It's usually the smaller group with Iguodala out there. So, now you bring in Bogut, who's a terrific defensive player. We'll see how much he gets an opportunity there. But DeMarcus Cousins knew this summer when he signed, he was told, we're going after a championship. There might be times when you're not on the floor at the end of all games. Are you okay with that? And it's a rhetorical question because they don't care if he's okay with it or not, because they're going to do what they need to do to win a championship.
Right.
Steve Kerr is going to do what he has to do. So, depending on matchups, particularly the Houston Rockets, who, by the way, are really hot right now and scary, you wouldn't see DeMarcus Cousins on the floor very often against that team. They don't play big against them. So he's going to have to embrace and get ready for that as well, not being on the floor possibly in close games in the playoffs.
So here I am thinking July 1, the season really comes down to what happens on July 1 because we're assuming the Warriors have another parade. Are you telling me somebody's ready to beat them in a 7-game series, John Barry? Is that what you're telling me?
Well, I'm telling you that the Houston Rockets are scary. They're beaten Golden State 3 straight times this year. They play them next week, I believe, on the 14th in Houston. That will be a very interesting game. I want to see if Golden State goes after that game to send a message because Houston has no fear. And remember, Chris Paul, if he doesn't strain his groin or hamstring last year, maybe they win that 7th game and Houston's hoisting the trophy.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.